Welcome to another RSR. Tonight, we are predicting and previewing the Concacaf Champions League final, Pumas UNAM versus Seattle Sounders. Tomorrow night, 9:30, first leg, 9:30 Central. First leg, we'll be live for that and reviewing it. Same thing with the second leg. Actually, the second leg will be part of a double feature. 2 reviews, 2 lives. But, with that being said, we will predict this final. I will give you my thoughts about it. And in the end, I'll give you a winner who I think will win the Concacaf Champions League, the final score of both legs, and the situation. So, of course, Pumas got here by beating Saprissa in the round of 16, drawing in Costa Rica, then absolutely dominating Saprissa in the second leg at home. The quarterfinals, the big remontada over the New England Revolution. A 3-0 loss at Gillette Stadium. They go back home, win 3-0, then win on penalties over New England to get to the semifinal. Then Pumas beat Cruz Azul in the semifinal of the CCL. Then they're here in the final. Seattle played Motagua in the round of 16, dominated Motagua in the second leg, drew them in the first, kicked the ever-loving crap out of Motagua in the second leg, get to the quarterfinals. They dominated Lewellen in the quarterfinals. Then in the semifinals, they had a very even tie with New York, but they were still the better team because of the first leg. The second leg, they did enough to get through. Kind of like the Lewellen tie, except Lewellen seemed a lot more dominant. And of course, Seattle is your MLS representative. From the left side of the bracket, from the right side of the bracket, you have Pumas representing Liga MX. The 5th MLS team to be in the CCL final is the Seattle Sounders. Of course, the first 4 to be in the CCL final out of MLS, Real Salt Lake in 2010, lost to Monterrey, Montreal in 2015, losing to Club America, Toronto FC 2018, losing to Chivas on penalties, LAFC in 2020, losing to Tigres 2-1 in the bubble, and now we have Seattle Sounders, where everybody is saying Seattle is the favorite to finally break the curse and give MLS a champion out of the Concacaf Champions League. Of course, if you know me, I don't want that to happen. I want next year to be the first, and I want it to be Toronto FC. And the way they're playing, they'll probably be at the level to be able to do it next year if they make the right moves and it all pans out. But it's not about what I want. It's not about what I want here. It's about what's very likely and what's the situation. So, getting into it, first leg at Pumas, Estadio Olímpico Universitario in Mexico. For Pumas, they have the home leg first, which may be a advantage, so to speak. So they know what to do in Seattle. Even though there are no away goals in this tournament, the final, there's no away goals in this tournament's final. It is, if it's tied after 180 in both legs, it'll go to extra time. And then if it's still tied after the extra 30, we go to penalties. So the second leg could go all the way. The second leg could go all the way. Of course, after 90 in the first leg is where it ends. Before another week passes, they go to Seattle. Then it could go 90 extra time penalties, depending on the situation. But with Pumas playing the first leg at home, I think they're going to do what they did against Cruz Azul. Now, it is possible that Juan Dineno is out tomorrow night, or if you're watching this tomorrow morning, I guess. It depends on when you're watching this, but right now, as of time of recording, tomorrow night, Juan Dineno may not be playing in this game. He is nursing a calf injury. If he's healthy enough and says he could go, he may go as a sub or a starter. Not completely sure. He's questionable. More likely doubtful, I should say, if you want to go with those fantasy football terms. Probably more doubtful that he's going to be in this match, but The way Lewellen runs this team, if there's any chance he can to use Dineno, he will. And if Dineno wants to go, he'll go. But I'm not really open to the notion of that. I'm not completely sure where he is. And I have no links to tell you if the doubtful is more 95% out, 5% possible, or where that number is. But he is possibly out tomorrow night. But Pumas can still score goals without him. Washington Caruso came back, scored 2 goals in a Liga MX game when they were playing, I think it was a comeback on Monterrey. But he could score goals. And if Salcedo is back, Sebastian Salcedo, Bofo Salcedo, who knows? It'd be nice to see him back if need be. But Pumas, again, their best defender, got red carded. He will be out. Pumas have to use some depth. They have to use some depth at home, but I'd rather use depth at home than away and in the second leg. So with that being said, I still think Pumas will play the same way. I believe that the way they play under Lewellen shows that they could get it done. They have players that could get it done. They have the depth. It's not really big name players, but they have the depth. They have players to do it. In the first leg, of course, Seattle will have Rui Diaz. They will have Ladero. They will have Rusnak. They will have their players. They will have Morris. They will have both Roldans, brothers Roldan. They'll have those players. But the thing about Seattle is they did lose to the 2 worst teams in MLS, some of the 2 worst teams in MLS over the past 2 weeks. And they definitely, against San Jose coming back, had some of their better players playing. The Miami game, they brought them on. They didn't start, but did a little bit of rotation, but they still lost to Miami at home. Then they lost to a comeback against the San Jose Earthquakes. Seattle isn't invincible, is what I'm trying to say here. And they could be focusing on CCL, but you focus what's on front of you. Let me tell you something about CCL, and I know this heavily. You got to focus what's in front of you. And Seattle didn't do that. They let themselves get beat by San Jose coming back. I know it may be a new manager bounce. Maybe it wouldn't have happened under Almeida, but still, it happened. And you have to see, okay, all right, they may not be invincible. Even with the depth, Seattle may not be invincible. And with that being said, you look at the situation, and I think Seattle's a good team. They're a good team. They're a strong team. They know how to play. And maybe it's the way these 2-legged ties go. But I think it's going to be harder for them to score in Mexico than it is Pumas for them to score in Seattle. And that's the way I see it. Pumas have a identity. The team is the star. The team is the star. Not just one player. Dineno will probably win the Golden Boot. He is, because Tati got eliminated last round. Dineno is your Golden Boot winner, goleador, Concacaf Champions League. He will win the Golden Boot, even if he doesn't add any in this tie. Be nice to see him add some in the second leg at least, because if he does, Pumas probably wins this tie. But you look at it, it's like, okay, Pumas could probably get it done. It's going to be hard, and it's going to be a tight tie, and it's not going to be very comfortable for people who want Seattle to win or Pumas to win, or people who are neutrals and want their league to win or their league to choke, so on and so forth. It's not going to be comfortable for anybody. It's not going to be comfortable for anybody. And you look at the situation, and Pumas have an identity. The team is the star. But Seattle's filled with stars. And even on the bench, they're like a salary cap version of Man City. They have MLS veterans, they have stars, and they have players wanting to make a name. And that gives you a good squad depth in MLS. You have players like Obed Vargas, Jackson Reagan, who want to make a name. You have Nuhu, who is a good MLS veteran and also could play other places. You have Yamar, great player. You have Rui Diaz, Ladero, Morse, Brothers Roldan, Stephen Fry, Kellen Rowe's on the bench. And Kellen Rowe is a legend in MLS. And this is without to say they got rid of Nico Benezet, Toronto folk hero. And I'm glad he's not there because it'd be kind of sad to see him lift the Champions League with Seattle. But Benezet should be in MLS somewhere. I don't know why. Maybe he retired. Maybe he quietly retired. I don't know. I'd like to know personally. And if he didn't, I'd like to see Toronto try to get him back in the summer. Benezet, Insigne, Jimenez, if they can't get Dineno, would be amazing. But again, that's not about right now. I would rather have Dineno in Toronto, but Benezet could probably do a job too. With that being said, in the summer, but Benezet could probably do a job too. Still a big fan. But Seattle's got names on names on names. Pumas has heart. Something's got to give. The names either have to give completely for Seattle or heart has to be broken for Pumas. And in the end, I think heart triumphs. I think the heart of Pumas, the team is the star mentality, Lellini being a genius. I think Pumas' heart will overcome the names on the Seattle Sounders. And I think history always wins. And the history is Mexican teams always find a way to win these MLS Liga MX matches. If that wasn't the case, Toronto would have beaten Chivas because Chivas was ass. And Pumas is better than that Chivas team. Seriously, you put that Chivas team against this Pumas team, Pumas wins over 2 legs. I say that now. Toronto, for all intents and purposes, should have kicked the ever-loving hell out of that Chivas team. They didn't. And this is a better team than that Toronto team faced. And that Toronto team is better than this Seattle team. And that's why I believe the heart of Pumas overtakes the names of Seattle, because the 2017 Toronto team, same situation. You put 2017 Toronto versus 2022 Seattle, a 2-leg tie, with them at their prime, 2017 Toronto wins. Yes. I believe it. Just like 2022 Pumas beat 2018 Chivas. 2017-18 Toronto, pretty much. You get the point. 2018 Toronto versus 2022 Seattle. At that moment, that Toronto wins. These Pumas beat that Chivas. Which that basically means to me is that this Pumas has a heart, has a fight that is better than Seattle's names. First leg, I say it is a 1-1 draw at Olímpico Universitario. Then in the second leg, after 90, it's 2-2, which would make it 3-3 on aggregate. We go to extra time. Pumas score early, make it 4-3 on aggregate. Then Seattle, in the second period of extra time, stoppage time, make it 4-4 on aggregate. Pumas and Seattle go to penalties, and Pumas win 5-4 on penalties. Pumas will win the CCL on penalties. Pumas are my champions. That is my prediction. I have Pumas winning 5-4 on penalties with a 4-4 aggregate score. So 4-4 on aggregate between both teams without any away goals. There's no away goals in this tie. There's extra time in the second leg if need be, and then penalties if need be still there. 4-4 on aggregate after extra time between both teams. 5-4 on penalties for Pumas. Pumas are your Concacaf champions. That is my prediction. I believe Pumas will get it done. I believe they will. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed these thoughts. Tomorrow, I will be back for a live watch-along and review of Pumas versus Seattle in the CCL final. I think I may bring out the suit for it. I probably will. We'll see then. I'll see you at 9:30 p.m. Central, 10:30 Eastern, 8:30 Mountain, 7:30 Pacific, whatever it is. I'll see you then. We'll have some fun. Let's enjoy the first leg of the final, and then we'll review it, and hopefully the final is still competitive after. If it's not Pumas absolutely dominating Seattle, hopefully the final is still competitive going into the second leg. With that being said, if you like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. Once you subscribed, put this in playlist. Share it with your friends and family. Send super chats on the live streams. Comment on this video and all that. Hopefully, give me your predictions in the comments below and what you think about this tie. And we'll see what happens over the next 2 weeks. I'm Ryan, and I'm out. Peace.